Hey guys, I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo23. Welcome back to another Airsoft review. Today we're checking out the KWA... Got a hair in my mouth. Hey guys, I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo23. Before we get started, don't forget to check out Inside the Mech Box on YouTube.com. Check out airsplat.com and you'll find it and all kinds of other cool stuff. Also, go check out the new Airsplat store in KWA, Washington. It's on the south end of Seattle. Really awesome store, fantastic customer service, and you can try out any gun you want before you buy it. So, today we have another Airsoft gun review. This is of the KWA CQR MOD2. Now, MOD2 stands for the short version, so the barrel is not yay long. This is the short version. The Mod 1 does have the longer barrel, so if you want that one, too bad. There really is almost no difference except for the barrel. Now, my initial impression of this thing is it's significantly lighter. That is A, because of the plastic lower receiver, and B, just because it's a small gun. It really weighs about 7 pounds or so. It's not very big, and it's actually very maneuverable. And the one thing I really do like about this gun is the fact that it does not come with a carry handle. I'm so tired of M4 carry handles, it's just not funny anymore. The fact that this just has the rear sight, no handle here, it just makes it great. I can put a dot sight here and we can call it a day. Now, before I get too far into this review, let me say that I will have an internal review on this gun later on. This is a buddy's gun that I'm working on, and I'm throwing some parts in it, so whenever I get the parts to throw in the gun, I will do the internal review. Till then, you guys are just going to have to wait. So, let's go ahead and put the CQR MOD2 down on the table, check it out in detail. Now, let me say this before we really start talking about the gun. There's a lot of things I like about it, but there are just a couple of things I can't stand about it. We'll get to those when we get to that section of the gun. The stock is just like any other M4, M16 stock. It's retractable, it is all plastic, it has very little wobble, which is nice. I've had stocks that just wobble like crazy and it's on your shoulder and just doesn't feel right. This is, I believe, what is it, oh, no, it doesn't have the numbering on top of the buffer tube. That's not right. It's a 5 or 6 position stock. You can retract it. And I do like my stocks about in the 2nd or 3rd position. I don't like them retracted all the way or pushed all the way in. It's just, you gotta find a good medium there. Just in front of the metal buffer tube assembly, you have a sling mount. There is a loop on either side, so if you're left or right-handed, you can attach a 1-point sling to this. There's also one up front, so you can do a 2-point as well. Now let's check out the receiver of this gun. Let's start with the left side of the receiver and work our way to the right side. Just like all of the KWA guns, you have the KWA logo, but because this is a plastic receiver, it is etched into it or molded in. And it does have a little bit of writing down here, CQR MOD2 Cal 6mm blah blah blah. Bolt catch on this gun does not work. No surprise, KWA's never had a working bolt catch except on their gas guns. Selector switch, just like any other M4 and 16, safe, semi, on full auto. On semi, it does wobble quite a bit. It's probably because of the plastic body. Not a huge fan of that, and my buddy actually wants me to get it as solid as possible, so I'm going to be replacing the spring and the bearing that's under that. As I mentioned earlier, you do have the rear sight on here. It's not the carry handle sight, just the back half of that pretty much. Adjustable for windage and elevation, and it does have 2 peep apertures here. It's very stiff, so if you want to adjust that, it's going to take a strong finger. Now let's swivel over to the right side of the receiver. Got a lot going on here, so follow along. The forward assist does do nothing, but it is spring-loaded, so it's kind of fun to push. Mag catch that works like just any other M16. Put it in. To take it out, you push the button here. Decent spring under it. Forgot to mention earlier that this gun does come with one of their newer mid-capacity plastic P-mags that KWA makes. When you first got them, they did not feed very well, so you really have to lubricate them like crazy. And after that, they feed pretty well. Now, to access the hop-up, simply pull the charging lever back. Now you have the little dial under here. Press it forward to increase the hop-up, turn it backward to decrease it. Now, I want to talk about the receiver real quick. The upper receiver is metal and the lower is plastic. No other company's done this. This is a first. So, making the lower receiver plastic decreases weight quite a bit. But there's one thing I don't like about it. when the gun is all put together, it feels fine. You're really not going to notice a whole lot of difference if you're just running the gun on the field. But when you actually have the gun apart, the receiver separate from everything, it feels very cheap. It's almost like holding an Echo 1 or a JG receiver. It's not the highest quality stuff. Just in front of the receiver, you have the barrel and handguard assembly. This is where the battery is stored. Simply push the D-ring back here and to release the lower half or upper half of the handguard assembly. This is the usual plastic assembly, so if you want to replace this with a rail system, it's not very difficult at all. Now this is where the battery is stored. Now, my buddy, when he got a 9.6 Mini in here, he said it had just no room at all. He couldn't get that in there. So he got a 9.6 volt nunchuck battery, and that seems to fit okay. It's pretty confined for room in here, so don't expect to get a very large battery in here. The handguard does have a mini Type Tamiya connector, but I highly recommend switching this over to Dean's, as this gun can run a LiPo pretty easily. The front sight here is adjustable for elevation only, not windage. And another big thing my buddy wanted was to have a black tip on here. It will come with an orange tip, but thank God this flashlight wasn't glued on or anything like that. I've had a lot of KWAs really tightly fitted and they're just impossible to get off. This one was actually pretty easy. It only took me a few seconds. Get some good spray paint, spray it black, and it looks fantastic. Now, I do enjoy KWA's attention to detail and realism. You can see just under the delta ring here that they do have the fake gas block. Not all guns have that nowadays, and the fact that KWAs still have those is a good touch. Now, perhaps the biggest problem with this gun is the cylinder. This gun's cylinder is not large enough. It does not have the air volume for the barrel length. The barrel length on this gun is about 300 millimeters. And I believe the Mod 1 has the same problem. The barrel on that one is 363 millimeters about, and I believe it has the same cylinder. This cylinder is extremely small. It's good for maybe an MP5 or an MP5K length barrel. Now the gun was only shooting about 330, 340 feet per second when we got it, which was just slow. These guns should shoot upwards of like 380, 390, maybe 400 FPS if you're lucky. Just the fact that it has this cylinder in here is bad. It's just not good for the barrel length. So I went ahead and installed just a replacement JG cylinder I had lying around. You can see the increase in volume in there. That's just enough to get you the FPS you need out of this barrel length. So let's go ahead and chrono this gun using the new installed cylinder. Keep in mind I have tuned and relubricated this entire gun. It sounds better and it's getting the proper FPS it should. Now let's go ahead and chrono the gun with some .2 gram rounds. Again, shooting very consistently around 390 FPS. One did have one that was a little low, about 350. So, what did you guys think of the KWA CQR MOD2? I think it's a very good deal for what you're paying for. It's about $190 on most websites. I will talk about the internals more in the next video, so stay tuned for that. It's just a fantastic gun. Really good rate of fire. Great FPS once you get a new cylinder in there. It's the cylinder. It's a killer right there. Thanks for watching. I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo23. Stay tuned for the internal review on this gun. We'll talk some cool stuff. Take it easy.